A man is sitting in the subway as he laments the beginning of another Monday. Sitting at a train station, dressed in business attire, he reflects on how every Monday feels the same. His expression is tired, his posture slouched as he expresses reluctance to go to work. He regrets wasting his weekend sleeping and dreads the pile of work awaiting him at the office. As he swipes his card to enter the station, a shift in his thoughts occurs. Something has been soothing him lately, even on these dreadful Mondays. He notices a young woman dressed in a school uniform descending the stairs at the station. She walks confidently, unaffected by the dreary atmosphere of the adults around her. Her uniform is neatly worn and her movements are light. As she steps down the stairs, her chest is filled with excitement for the upcoming week. Suddenly, she stumbles, losing her balance, her foot slipping on the step. Her arms flail, but she quickly recovers, exclaiming her relief at not falling. The man watches the scene with concern. The girl, regaining her composure, turns to greet him with a bright smile. She warmly says good morning, calling him Oni-san in a cheerful tone, expressing gratitude for his help the previous week. Her energy is infectious as she confidently strides toward him. He responds with a friendly greeting, calling her by her name, Achan. As they exchange pleasantries, A cheerfully explains that she's always energetic because it's Monday, much to his surprise. He remembers that something significant happened last Monday. As the train rattles into the station, he is sunk into last week's memory. The train is packed with commuters, and the man finds himself squeezed tightly among the crowd and a girl. His face is tense, sweat dripping as he realizes how uncomfortable the situation is becoming. His body is pressed against hers, and he grows increasingly anxious. He tries to maintain his composure, but the sensation of being tightly squeezed becomes overwhelming. As he struggles, he recalls something he had read online about what to do in these situations to avoid accusations of inappropriate behavior. With difficulty, he reaches into his pocket to retrieve his business card, but in the chaos, it slips and lands awkwardly. The card ends up in an unfortunate position, landing on A's chest. Both of them freeze, realizing the awkwardness of the situation. The man's face turns pale with panic as A calmly acknowledges the accident with a small smile, while he awkwardly apologizes for the mishap. As the man stands, overwhelmed with embarrassment, Achan retrieves his business card case with difficulty, offering it back to him with a reassuring look. She remains composed despite the chaotic scene. Her gesture catches the man off guard as she tries handing him the card. He is drenched in sweat, overwhelmed by the awkwardness of the situation. As the train reaches the station, the man panics and rushes off, hurriedly apologizing. I watches, confused by his sudden exit, holding the card as she processes what just happened. He rushes up the stairs, his face flushed with shame, wondering how he let things escalate to this point. Looking back briefly, he notices her holding the card and freezes momentarily. She rushes towards him from the station platform, still holding the case as she calls after him, but he is too flustered to respond properly. She slips, trying to rush towards him. The man, still in shock, barely processes the gesture as he watches from afar, realizing that his social life could have ended in disaster at that very moment. His heart sinks, imagining how badly things could have gone. But instead of his fears coming true, he reflects that on this day, it wasn't his social life but his physical self that suffered the brunt of the situation, all due to the chaotic and embarrassing series of events. In the aftermath, the man is left utterly defeated, having been physically battered by what he humorously considers the softest weapons in human history. He processes the series of events while still reeling from the awkward interaction with Achan. Despite the comical nature of the situation, he acknowledges that Achan didn't seem too troubled by the incident. Later, Ida addresses the incident, showing no ill will. She laughs off the awkwardness and expresses her surprise at how crowded the train had been, commenting on how she needs to take the early train every Monday for school committee duties. Thus begins their weekly meetup. He has also been standing guard for her. As her stop arrives, he is saddened. I tries to cheer him up by smiling brightly. She holds out her hand, offering something to the man. She asks him to hold out his hand, calling it a lucky charm for the week. Curious, he extends his hand, and she gently places something in it. He looks at it in surprise as she reveals it's a button from her shirt that popped off the previous week. The man, confused and flustered, processes the gesture as I continue smiling, telling him to use it to remember their time together and not to lose it. He is shocked by her words and asks if she means they are not going to meet again. Achan confirms this, saying that she may not be able to see him next week. The man grows concerned. She tells him the next time they meet, she'll be J-chan, hinting at her increased size. With a playful wave, I bids him goodbye, promising to do her best, and teasingly says she will see him the next week. As she walks away, the man watches, reflecting on the chaotic but oddly endearing moments of his Monday, while she confidently heads off to continue her day. The atmosphere in the apartment is tense, the workers clearly feeling the weight of Monday morning before the official workday begins. as the man sits at his desk, visibly stressed, lamenting how their division, Sales Division 2, has once again been outperformed by Sales Division 1. His thoughts are interrupted by the familiar sound of heels clicking on the office floor. The office mood shifts as everyone notices her arrival. A young woman wearing a perfectly tailored business suit entered the office with a warm greeting. She addresses her senior, who acknowledges her with a casual morning. The office comes to life as several colleagues greet her with similar energy, commenting on her usual vibrancy. She waves back energetically, clearly a well-liked presence in the office. As she takes her seat, her senior reflects on his role as her mentor, taking responsibility for her training. He quietly admits to himself that he's facing some challenges in her training. The young woman starts preparing her work materials, adjusting her outfit in a way that attracts attention, but she seems unaware of it. When asked if anything is wrong, he hurriedly denies it, not wanting to make a scene. While working at her desk, the young woman mentions a change in her PC, saying her previous one was being repaired. She proudly declares how well prepared she is, citing the frequent backups she's been making as per her senior's earlier advice. The senior acknowledges her hard work and competence, admitting that she is bright, welcoming, and quick to learn. Playfully, she seeks praise for her diligence, while her senior humorously notes her dog-like enthusiasm. He decides to reward her efforts with a compliment, feeling satisfied himself as he gives it. She is sure to help everyone else as well, always with a cheeky personality. Her help seems to add to the office liveliness, as some of the men in the office can't help but watch her every move. Despite the distraction she inadvertently causes, the senior acknowledges the positive changes in the office's atmosphere since she started. While some of the middle-aged men seem to be motivated by ulterior motives, the senior reflects on how her positive personality is truly what's contributing to the improved atmosphere. At one point, the woman stands up to reach for something on a high shelf, unknowingly drawing attention again due to her appearance. He quickly offers help, and she thanks him with her usual bright attitude. The senior hesitates to address the awkwardness this situation creates. Later, the senior is approached by a manager who begs for assistance with a sudden task. He apologizes for the late notice and hands over a large stack of documents. The woman enthusiastically volunteers to help her senior with the task, and the two of them sit down to tackle the work. Despite the workload, the woman's cheerful attitude lightens the mood. As they work, the senior grows increasingly conscious of her presence. At one point, he realizes how close she is, and he becomes flustered, his mind racing to avoid any inappropriate thoughts or actions. They continue working late into the evening, and finally the end is in sight. Just when they think they're about to finish early, however, her computer breaks down again, much to her dismay. He finally notices it is due to her massive features. She turns to her senior, clearly upset, unsure of what to do next. He can only bury his face in his hands, wondering how to even begin fixing the situation. We follow Ai as she greets the protagonist at the train station, calling him by his usual nickname, Oni-san. However, her appearance seems to have changed slightly, and he corrects himself, remembering to call her J-chan. She wears a neat school uniform, standing confidently with her phone in hand, and as he stumbles over the name, she smiles and reassures him to just continue calling her I-chan, noting it would be too troublesome to keep changing her nickname every time something changes. He wonders about how much more she plans to grow, appearing flustered by her appearance. Ai proudly displays her new ribbon, replacing her usual tie, and explains that at her school, girls have a variety of uniform options. He looks at her in surprise and admiration, commenting that she looks cute. Ai beams with joy. He continues saying that he now has the energy to work hard for the week ahead, and she thanks him for the compliment. As Ai playfully asks which look he prefers, the one with the ribbon or without, he hesitates, clearly finding it hard to decide, and Ai giggles, enjoying his awkwardness. She then moves to adjust her jacket, and her brother suggests buttoning it up, noticing that she's not wearing her necktie. Ai shrugs it off, mentioning the warm weather, but he persists in suggesting that she button up her jacket. She pushes him to button up her jacket, placing his hand on the button. He, clearly uncomfortable but unable to resist her request, hesitantly fastens it, feeling the tightness of the jacket around her figure. Ai remains calm and composed, directing him to finish the task while he sweats nervously. Afterwards, Ai comments that her jacket feels a bit too tight, and he agrees awkwardly, suggesting she ask for a larger size. Ai dismisses the idea, saying it's fine as it is. Soki instead tells her to unfasten, but again she tells him to do it for her. He cannot help but think only this one place is extremely different from the rest of her body. He recommends she wears the tie, and yet again she requests him to put it on for her. Taking it out from her bag, she hands it to him. As he is fumbling with it, he asks if all of this wouldn't have been quicker had she done it by herself. She offers to fix his tie next time to make up for the hard work he is going through. The morning rush at the station begins as the train approaches. Kuhai-chan gently calls out to her senpai, trying to wake him up from a quick nap on the station bench. His eyes snap open as she tells him the train is coming soon. He apologizes, realizing he dozed off after working late the previous night. Kuhai-chan, slightly flustered, tries to adjust her hair while reminding him to hurry as the train draws nearer. His tie is crooked, and she steps closer to fix it for him, pulling it straight with a quiet but firm gesture, telling him to look sharp for their workday. As they wait, Kuhai-chan asks if he got enough sleep, noticing his tired expression. He admits he didn't sleep much after staying late at the office. She assures him that she's fine as he had insisted she go home first. Despite her own fatigue, she brushes it off with a smile, making sure her superior is properly prepared for the day by adjusting his appearance once more. As they are going to the train, she begins yawning. He warns her that there be no yawning in front of clients, expressing concern for professionalism. She nods. Their conversation is interrupted by the train arriving at the platform. He offers an apology for any inconvenience, but Kuhai-chan reassures him that it's fine as long as they keep moving. He remarks with a playful smile that she should try to avoid yawning by moving the tongue a certain way, a tip picked up from somewhere. The two of them hurry toward the train, catching it just in time, enjoying the crowd of commuters. The train ride is packed with people standing shoulder to shoulder. Kuhai-chan stands close to her superior, and as they both try to maintain their balance, she accidentally presses against him. He awkwardly apologizes, feeling the discomfort of the crowded space. As they squeeze into the train, Kuhai-chan remains composed, remarking that the train will depart soon as they find their spots amid the crowd. She stands tall, looking confident despite the cramped conditions. The doors of the train close and Kuhai-chan is nearly caught between them. She quickly moves back, realizing the doors aren't closing fully due to the rush of people. He suggests that they should probably wait for the local train next time, her cheerful demeanor softening the stressful situation. They both agree to take their next train instead, laughing off the awkwardness. Later, at the client meeting in a high-rise office building, Kuhai-chan stands confidently in front of the room, representing her company. Despite her earlier tiredness, she seems perfectly fine now, poised and attentive. The clients take notice of her professionalism as he discusses the improvements the company has made using new materials. As he is going through, he notices she uses the technique he taught her. A laugh almost escapes his lips, but he quickly covers it with a cough. After the meeting, as they walk out of the building together, Kuhai-chan comments that the presentation went well and suggests heading straight home instead of going back to the office. They wouldn't make it back in time anyway, she reasons. She then excitedly mentions a nearby place she's been wanting to try out, hinting at the possibility of grabbing something to eat. As she checks her phone, her enthusiasm is evident as they both enjoy a moment of relief after the long workday, the bustling city surrounding them. As they leave the building, Kuhai-chan looks surprised when she sees her superior check his phone. He mentions that the department manager has sent an urgent request for additional work to be completed. She reacts with disbelief, asking if he's really going to work more after their long day. He responds with a casual apology, explaining that the new orders need to be added for the meeting tomorrow. With a sigh, Kuhai-chan comments that he loves working too much, but he seems undeterred. He laughs, saying that beating Division 1 this month is important, and they'll owe him one after this. Kuhai-chan, trying to be helpful, offers to stay and finish the work with him, suggesting they can complete it quickly and go home together. But he firmly tells her no, ordering her to go straight home and rest as she already worked enough. She stands still, clearly caught off guard by his sudden seriousness, but eventually nods in agreement. They board the train and the rhythmic clatter of the train car fills the air as they ride together. He sits, relaxing slightly as he notices how close they are to the office. Just as he is about to wish farewell, he notices something. His eyes widen in surprise as he feels Kuhai-chan's head resting gently on his shoulder. She has drifted off to sleep, exhausted from the long workday. He sits still, not wanting to wake her, and quietly thinks to himself about looking after her. The train's announcement signals that it will soon depart from the station, but he remains seated with Kuhai-chan resting against him, the gentle hum of the train continuing as they ride together. Perhaps the work can wait till tomorrow. The Monday morning atmosphere is heavy, accompanied by an uneasy feeling. He notices a high school student walking up the stairs, full of energy and youth. As the student continues up the steps, Achan stands beside him, engaging in light conversation. Her cheerful demeanor adds to the liveliness of the moment as they talk about school life. However, the moment she notices him, she comes to greet him. He is wondering what sort of relationship those two high schoolers have. He imagines himself getting extorted by the boy who accuses him of stealing his girl. Even in his imagination, he cannot accept that persons such as him should be granted the honor of staring at her. He believes she truly deserves everything he possesses. Back on the train, they continue their commute. He is lost in thought as she reflects on her interactions with the boy. She notices him deep in thought, possibly preoccupied, and calls out to him to snap him back to the present. Her gaze is sharp, indicating that she notices even the smallest details about him. As they stand together in the crowded train, she playfully questions him, wondering if he's gotten too used to her presence. He stumbles over his words, flustered by her directness, but quickly reassures her that he hasn't. Their exchanges carry a sense of familiarity and routine, which doesn't sound comforting to Ai. He truly does believe what he's saying. She continues to speak, but notices her companion is distracted again. She calls out to him, demanding his attention, but he remains lost in thought, focusing on her presence rather than her words. He imagines her in a classroom surrounded by admirers, boys in the background holding bouquets as she becomes the center of attention. Despite all the attention from others, her thoughts seem elsewhere as she sits quietly at her desk, deep in contemplation. She's undoubtedly the school idol, adored by many, yet she appears indifferent to the surrounding praise. Her composed demeanor contrasts sharply with the excitement around her, further emphasizing her unique presence in the room. As the high school girl continues to ride the train, she leans into her companion with a subtle smile, hinting that any experiences she may have had are a secret for now. She confidently teases him, stating that she'll share something else instead, one of her biggest secrets. Holding up a button in her hand, she asks if he noticed anything different about it today. He looks at the button in surprise and realizes that it's not the usual kind. She playfully reveals that it's from her work uniform, a waitress uniform specifically. She explains that the apron is uniquely shaped, and while it may not be the most functional, is part of her secret. She asks him to keep her part-time job a secret, as the school doesn't allow students to work. Only he knows, and she gently reminds him that he's the only one who knows this secret. With a bright smile, she invites him to visit her at work sometime. As they prepare to part ways, she wakes him off, looking forward to their next meeting. He reflects on this interaction as she walks off, her hair swaying slightly with each step. She turns back for a moment, thinking that too she truly looks forward to seeing him every week.
Here I am, know it's been a while. I was in denial about my love. Here I stand, I know I walked away.